Hi guys, welcome back to Gryphon Studio. My name's Alan, and this week I'm going to be making some kind of swampy marshland kind of terrain, general purpose kind of terrain for encounters and Warhammer games and all sorts of things like that. A while ago I made a witch's cavern, a hag's hut sort of thing, and it really kind of re-inspired me to add some more terrain to it, so I went to go and make some interesting kind of pools of stagnant water, but obviously add some details to those things, something that in D&D maybe players can investigate, or just something to really kind of dress the scene up a little bit, just to make it look a little bit better, rather than just kind of normal, bog standard, pun intended, kind of normal pools of water. So that's what I've been making this week. Let's just crack on. Alright, so let's kick things off with some base material. I'm just going to use a sheet of Foamex, cut up into small pieces and beveled across the edge. And then I'm going to use some Sculpt Mold to kind of sculpt some landscape around this. I'm going to use way too much of it apparently, so just need to get rid of some of this. But the idea here is just to sculpt some kind of raised area around the borders of the Foamex sheet, giving you a kind of natural depression in the middle, somewhere that can really hold a little bit of resin and hopefully not let it leak out. So make sure you kind of have this solid wall of Sculpt Mold all the way around, or whatever material you're using to kind of create the boundaries for these swampy pools. Now, Sculpt Mold takes a little while to cure fully, but in the first 5 minutes or so it does cure quite rapidly. So my idea here was to just kind of put it all a little bit messy on all the pieces of Foamex that I had, and then as it cured within about 5 minutes or so, I could go back to it and really kind of shape it a lot easier after it sort of hardened up a little bit, just to really sort of smooth out all those edges. Also, it's worth pointing out that it is way easier using your finger rather than any sort of kind of modeling tool type situation, because your finger just has a natural smoothness to it anyway, and it's far more controllable than some sort of clay sculpting tool or a spatula or coffee stir or anything like that. Just make sure that the walls, the boundaries here of this kind of Sculpt Mold are high enough that they can definitely hold a reasonable amount of resin, and make sure they're kind of level all the way around as well, like the same height all the way around the boundary if you can. Okay, so obviously I don't just want to create some normal pools of water just by themselves, I want to add some interesting details to it. So I'm going to make a small cart out of balsa wood, and just adding some texture with the back of an X-Acto blade, and then using some Gorilla wood glue and applied it with a toothpick or cocktail stick, just to minimize the overspill and hopefully keep it looking fairly neat. This is quite delicate work because it is balsa wood and it's fairly soft, so just be careful at this point. Now what I wanted to make here was some half wheels, because I wanted it to be kind of sunk into the ground, but I managed to find one that I could print out on my new 3D printer, which I figured I might as well use since it cost me a few £100. So here I cut a wheel in half, and I'm just going to apply that to the bottom. I also had this little guy here hanging around, but he was a bit kind of thick, so I just shaved the back of him off a little bit, and he sat much closer to the ground and a little bit flush, so he's going to go in another one of these swamp bases. I also found a little bit of root from the garden, which I can secure in place using the Sculpt Mold. I ended up also applying some super glue to that as well. And then it's just a matter of texturing all the bases with some sand and a few little bits of grit and rocks. Once that was done, I undercoated them with a black spray primer and then a brown spray primer, just to make them look really kind of dirty and muddy. They all got pretty much the same paint job, and a few details were painted with just normal Citadel paints. A few weapons here, which were from my bits box, painted up in a kind of rusty colour and bronzy colour. And then some barrels here. I got these from Angry Stag Wargaming. They make some really cool sculpts and really nice crisp lines on them. And then this guy, obviously you saw from the, I think it's from a Games Workshop box, and there's the cart all sprayed up as well. Then it's just a matter of giving them a good multi-purpose wash. This is just going to go over the entirety of all the pieces, including the stuff that's been painted and the cart and everything. I mean, you could argue that this wash really darkens down the piece quite a lot, but I'm pretty okay with that because I wanted this to look kind of grimy and very uninviting. It's a swamp after all. It's supposed to be kind of grim and dark, so I wanted this to look kind of muddy and uninviting in general. And adding this kind of same multi-purpose wash over everything, over the barrels, the cart, and everything that's in these pieces, it really helps to just kind of tie the colour scheme together and help it blend together nicely. Now once that wash had dried, I actually found that the middle of the pools wasn't dark enough, so I added some watered down black paint and just kind of spread it around with a wet brush to make the illusion of maybe a little bit more depth to these pools than what really is there. Obviously you're working with very flat pieces of terrain here and trying to create depth, it's very difficult, so using a bit of darkness in this way is a good idea to help create that illusion. Now for me, all swamps and things should have these kind of tall reeds sort of sticking out of the water and around the edges, and I figured I could just poke some holes in the edges here with a clear modelling tool, and then add a little bit of glue to the base and put in some of these bits of kind of strangling. I don't even know what these things are called. I bought these a while ago and I can't even remember where from, but they need using, so I'm going to use them. And I just kind of fold them in half. I'm sure you can get these in most hobby shops, and then I just sort of place them in the hole that I created with a little bit of super glue at the bottom, and then repeat that step and a whole bunch of times, and you get some pretty cool looking interesting reeds. Then I added some dried leaves around the place. This is just using is it birch seeds or something? This is kind of a common technique that a lot of people use. You can obviously colour these a little bit with a bit of a paint if you want to tint them, but I just use them pretty standard and just dot them around most of the bases to add a little bit of kind of debris. Then I trimmed back some of those reeds that I applied in the previous step to make that a little bit more of a reasonable normal height for this kind of level of terrain. And then I glued the cart down and applied a few tufts of grass. These are just self-adhesive ones that you can buy online. Of course, you can just use normal flocking if you want, if you've got the right colours. I didn't have any of the exact right colour flocking at the moment that I wanted for this, and I had some cool grass tufts to use, so I wanted to use them. And then I used some burnt grass fine turf here from Woodland Scenics just to create some moss around the edges. Moss is obviously something that just grows in these kind of dark, damp conditions, so a swamp is ideal for things like moss. And I put it all over the tree and things, and some of it in the cart and on the barrels and everywhere that looks like it could do with a little bit of an interesting detail. I also 3D printed a few little toadstools and mushrooms, which I then painted up and added to the pieces later on. But I'm also going to add the epoxy now, and this is a 2-part resin which dries crystal clear. Might be a few bubbles in it, but we can pop those later. And then I'm just going to add some of the multi-purpose wash to that as well, and hopefully that'll darken it down and make it look kind of grimy and dirty, like it's maybe full of silt or peat, and looks really kind of natural, and also gives a good gradient to the water and makes it seem a lot deeper. And then a little bit of super glue and some of the toadstools that I mentioned earlier. But they need a little bit more of a paint job on them, so I'm just going to add some little dots, little white spots, using a cocktail stick because it's just a lot easier. Now this water clear epoxy resin does dry very, very flat. Obviously it self-levels because it's a liquid, and I really wanted to add a little bit of a dynamic sort of movement to the surface of the water. So I just added some gloss Mod Podge. This is a pretty standard kind of industry secret, I guess, and I just sort of applied this over the whole surface and then blew it around with a straw. You can use an airbrush if you've got one of these to kind of create the ripples instead, but I don't have an airbrush, I have a straw. So that's what I'm using to just pop the bubbles and blow in some nice, more realistic looking ripples. And with that step complete, they're pretty much done. Enjoy! There we are, guys, all finished. I'm pretty happy with the way they look, kind of organic and generally like quite natural. A lot of people will know by now that I do like creating quite natural sort of kinds of terrain with a bit of human element sort of added to it for a little bit of I suppose interesting detail. So I did obviously 3D print a few things for this build, the cart wheels and the mushrooms, toadstools that I kind of dotted around the place just to add a little bit of interesting nature to the piece. I have shown how to create mushrooms in previous videos. For this one though, I just wanted to use my 3D printer a little bit and add some interesting tiny, super tiny details, and I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. They're way better than something that I could make with these old things, so I'm pretty happy with those and my decision to use them. Also, I had a few barrels there which I added. Those are from Angry Stag Wargaming, which are a small company here in England, but they have some really nice crisp sculpts. They are cast in resin, so they're not 3D printed, and casting in resin is just far better quality, and they are really affordable as well. So feel free to check those out if you like. I will say that I use exclusively 2-part epoxy resin. I did attempt to use a polyester resin a while ago, but found that it was incredibly aggressive in terms of its chemical makeup, and also the fumes that come off it are horrendous, and it absolutely must be used in a ventilated room, or just preferably outside. So that for me isn't particularly useful. So I'm pretty much sticking with 2-part epoxy resin, which you can buy fairly cheap, maybe a litre of it or something online for about £15 or so. That's it for this one. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to hit the like button and leave a comment below, and I will try and get back to everybody that I can. I do have an Instagram set up if you want to check me out on there, and feel free to have a look at all the projects that I make here, and maybe a few extras as well. And I do have a Patreon set up as well. I am incredibly thankful for my existing patrons who are just like, they're keeping me going. These guys are really supportive, and I'm really happy for all their feedback and comments and things. So thank you very much to all you guys. That's it for this one though. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for stopping by, and happy crafting.